Welcome to Soul Knowledge. I'm your host, Rocky K of Tune Into Wellness. We are souls having a human experience, and this podcast is where we remember that. Your soul has lived lifetimes. It has a history, a purpose, and a wisdom that goes deeper than anything your mind can analyze. My work through Reiki, hypnotherapy, past life regression, subconscious healing, and intuitive transformation is to help you not just learn about your soul, but to actually know it. Here I'll be sharing real stories from real sessions, lessons from the unseen, and truth telling about what healing really looks like. The messy, mystical, holy, human, sometimes hilarious, often uncomfortable, absolutely life-changing parts of it all. And I'll warn you now, if you don't like the honest language or the occasional well-placed F-bomb, this is not the podcast for you. Because sometimes the most spiritual thing you can say is, fuck this, I'm done repeating this pattern. So let's take a breath. Tune in. Let go of what you think you know. And let's drop into the wisdom your soul's been trying to give you all along. Welcome home. Welcome to Soul Knowledge. Hello, and welcome back to the Soul Knowledge Podcast. This is Rocky K, and today I want to talk about something that I think is pretty important, and it's the guide and the guru, establishing the difference and, really empowering individuals with their self-healing. And so I think one of the biggest problems in just personal development in the spiritual world, it's not the fake healers. It's not even the bad information. It's not even the misinformation. But somewhere along the way, we stopped looking for people to walk beside us. And we started to look for people to tell us where to go, how to step, how to show up, and who we are. And those, it's such wildly different things. And it's not empowering, like self-empowering. And so we all started to believe also that other people healed us. And today I am going to challenge both of these ideas because I don't believe anyone heals you. I don't. And I know I'm in a class of healers, right? And I put some quotes there around that, but if you're listening, you're not seeing my fingers. I believe that people can create an environment where healing becomes possible, and only you can create that environment. I believe that people can hold space for you. They can teach you. I think they can ask you really powerful questions. They can introduce you to really fantastic tools. They can even guide you through tools. That's what I like to do, is use some of my favorite tools and I guide you through it. And then they can reflect back things that maybe you don't see on your own, but actually healing you? No. Healing is something your own mind, body, and soul ultimately chooses to do. Which means maybe you've been giving away far more power than maybe you even realize. So let's talk about healing versus being healers. And just so we get this all really clear, I think we are all healers. Every single one of us are healers. Okay, but let's dive into this. So one thing I have been more intentional about over the years is the language I use. People will often say, "You healed me." I don't do that. And while I know that's meant with the highest compliment, I honestly don't accept that. Because if I believed I healed you, then I also have to believe I could fail to heal someone else. And neither one is true. So I believe your body is constantly trying to move forward and move into this balance and heal itself. It's always trying to find balance and correcting what we're doing. Your nervous system wants safety. Your mind wants coherence. Your soul absolutely wants wholeness. And my role is not to heal you. My role is to help move some of the noise that is keeping you from accessing what already exists inside you. So think about it. If I plant a seed, I didn't make it grow. I simply created the conditions where growth became possible. And healing works much in the same way. So, if I'm not trying to become someone's healer, then what am I trying to become? I am trying to become your guide. Okay? I am helping you to create the conditions and that self belief and empowering you with tools to help you create the environment to heal. So it's just like, if I water the soil, I plant that seed, I water it, I make sure there's sunshine, I make sure all of the things all around it are right. And then I tell you to make sure you water it on a regular basis. I give you a little plan, right? And then it finally grows because you kept up with the work. So I want to talk about the guide versus guru. Okay. So there are these people that are working from their ego. Let's be really honest. And when you're working through your ego, you are presenting yourself as a guru. And I will tell you, when I am doing this 40 years from now, I am not going to call myself a guru. I don't care how much experience I have. That's not who I am and why I'm here. I'm here to help people, guide them to their healing. So let's talk about, I have some points that I want to make about a guide versus a guru. So let's get this really clear so you know the difference. So a guide points you back to yourself, okay? A guru will point you back to them. Every conversation should increase your trust in yourself and not your dependence on them, okay? Like what I do is I am empowering people. And if your guide is not empowering you, you need to find somebody new. A guide creates independent people. A guru creates followers. So I've worked with some for years, and some of them don't always trust all of their own decision in something. If that is the case, when they don't trust, even though I know we have done the work, there's something wrong. There's something there that's disconnected, and I am going to help them connect it because there's no reason that if you come in and worked with me that you don't trust yourself, especially if you're working with me on a regular basis. And if you were working with somebody on a regular basis, you shouldn't be calling them and setting up every time you need an answer or you need a fix. You should have tools that you can go and do on your own. So a guide gets comfortable saying, I don't know. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know a lot of things. And there's some things that I don't actually even care to know. And so I will send my people off to somebody else because it's just not my area of expertise. And that's okay. And that's really cool because I have the things that I'm really good at. And I know people that are really good at other things. And so if someone comes in and they have something that I cannot help them with, I'm going to send them somewhere else. Or like we've had Sarah Michelle that was on here, and she works specifically with people in chronic pain. I know how to help people with that. But why have me help them when there's somebody that's so much better at it? That is her specialty. And so the more I learn, the less like certain I become about having having to have all the answers. Like curiosity, I think is so much healthier than certainty. Like I love things that like make me step back and like question things. Because I feel like I'm that person. I'm always the student. Like I love learning. A guide will teach you how to hear your own intuition. A guru becomes your intuition. And that's not okay either. So if every life decision has to go through that person, you've handed them your power. In my like meditation sessions, especially that I do Tuesday evenings, I'm teaching you how to trust that inner voice. Like I'm telling you to write it down, and I'll tell you, I say it to all my students and clients, when you write things down, they become real. And so when we do those meditation and journal sessions, which you can join virtually, you don't have to be here in Virginia Beach live. I'm teaching you how to trust that inner knowing, that inner voice, because I want you to know exactly what your body needs, your soul needs, your heart needs, wants, because that's how you can truly walk in purpose. Next, like healing never requires somebody else's permission, okay? So if you've been told I can only clear your energy, or only I can interpret your dreams, or only I can access your guides, or only I know your purpose, those are invitation to become dependent and not empowered. So there are people that like, oh, you have to come see me. You know, that's that is not that is not healthy, and it is not empowering, because the only person that actually really knows is you. Mhm. I love to give people beautiful messages when I read their energy. Honestly, I do. Like, I think it's one of the coolest parts of my job when I do an intuitive Reiki session. Like, when I get these messages and I tell them these messages, like, it's so fun. Like, it's really, really fun to have those messages and to be able to give those messages and allow people to receive them. But what's even cooler is when I watch these people that come in week after week in meditation, and they get some of the coolest messages. And I didn't do that for them. They did that for themselves. Healthy teachers, they create confidence. So unhealthy teachers create insecurity. Like then they sell you another solution. So when you are being like sold and you're like being made to feel insecure about your inner knowing, you need to ask yourself, like every time you leave that person, do I feel stronger? Or do I feel like I needed another appointment just to function? I mean, I want you to really think about that when you're going to somebody. I don't want you to feel dependent. And I think I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to piss some people off, but I think that's what a lot of like talk therapy does. Like, not all. So don't like come at me with it. But if you're not diving in and getting to the root of the problem, we're just sitting here talking in fucking circles. Mm. Like, is it really helping you? I want you to make sure that your therapist is teaching you tools that are going to help you do the work on your own. Like, if they don't have a plan for you to be released, they're not helping you. So a guide will celebrate when you no longer need them. Parents want children to become independent. Good therapists want clients to graduate. Good teachers want students to exceed them. And why should spiritual teachers be any different? Like literally as this podcast comes out, I am going to become an empty nester. And oh man, I just kind of got a little choked up there. Shit, like but I know as a mom, I did a good job. Like my girls are good. because I taught them how to be independent. I taught them to trust their fucking intuition. I taught them how to take care of themselves. And I didn't micromanage all their shit. And that's the same thing I do with my clients here. Don't micromanage them. And something else that I do, like I let my girls be fucking whoever they are. Like, and I'll tell you what, if you look at my children, you will see they could not be more different people. My girls are so unique and so themselves. And that's what I want my clients to be, whoever they uniquely are, who God created them or source or whatever you freaking believe, whatever you were created to be, that's who I want you to be. And that is who I help you become. And find that person and bring her alive. A guide will walk beside you. A guru expects you to follow behind them. One relationship feels collaborative and one feels hierarchical. So I just want you to think about that. Like, who do you want with you? You want somebody that's walking in front of you and carving out the path? Or do you want somebody that's walking behind you, showing you how to carve the path for yourself? So the best guides will slowly disappear. And it's not because they leave, but it's because their voice becomes quieter while yours becomes louder. And I mean, I have always loved, like, I've had clients, even when I personal train, they'd be sitting there like, what would Rocky say right now? What would Rocky do? I think I'm okay with that. As long as you keep this in mind, Rocky would say, what does your gut say? Like, what does your inner knowing say? That is what Rocky would say. So make sure if you're having a moment, like, what would Rocky say? That would be it. Okay. So, and here's a part that we don't always talk about. Sometimes we don't actually want a guide. Okay. And I am human here and I am the same person. We want certainty sometimes. We want someone to tell us who we're supposed to marry, whether we should quit our job, what our purpose is, what our guides are saying, and what decision is right. Because if someone else gives us the answer, we don't have to carry that responsibility if it doesn't work out. Sometimes giving away our power feels easier than trusting ourselves. And I'm going to tell you what, I am 100% guilty of this sometimes. And it's funny because I even have had my guides tell me, like, why are you doing this? Like, I'll play with my little pendulum or, I have like these, yes, no, maybe cards that Summer Paradiso made. I love those. And, or I'll do some body testing. I'll ask all these questions. I want to know yes or no. Should I do this? And it's just like, gee, mini Christmas. Why are you asking all these questions, Rocky? And I'm like, oh, why wouldn't I ask the questions? That's kind of what you're here for, right? And it's like, no, you already know the answer. Why are you asking? And so I kind of laugh because I am totally this person sometimes. And, so it's a very human nature for somebody to want somebody to give them the answers. And I can promise you that when you come in here, I am not giving you answers. I might give you, feed you a little nibble or something, but I'm going to teach you how to get ththose answers yourself. I'm going to teach you how to trust your inner knowing, and how I do this. And I'm going to teach it to you right now because this is what I'm feeling like I need to say. So how I tell people to trust their intuition, and I maybe have said this on an earlier podcast, so this might be repetitive, but it clearly needs to be said again now. I want you to think about a time when you knew something and you went against it. I want you to remember how you felt. And then I want you to remember what happened, because it probably didn't work out. Even though you knew you shouldn't do it, you knew the answer and you went against that inner knowing. And then I want you to think about the opposite. When you knew something, you knew it. And you were like, yes, no, this is it. Okay. And then you stuck with that thing and it came out right. And you were right. Remember how that feels. Like, I can't tell you how it's going to feel. I need you to think about real life things that have happened that you can use as a comparison. Learn how your body does it. And I'm going to tell you what the things I know now is so calm. Like, I am so grounded and I don't actually get emotional about a lot of it. It's so matter of fact, like so matter of fact. And I'm going to bet most of you are like that too. So I want you to trust that inner knowing, that matter of fact, because that is where your power is. And I don't want you to keep giving it up to somebody else. Now, if you need tips, you want to really strengthen your intuition, I've got tools for that. Hit me up. I'm happy to give you options. So let's talk about something else here. This is where I can make it really personal. So people come into my office asking me what they should do all the time. They ask what their guides are saying. They ask what decisions they should make. They ask me to tell them their purpose. And while I absolutely share what I observe, I never want my voice to become louder than theirs. Okay? Because if someone leaves my office believing I hold all their answers, I have failed because I don't hold anybody's answers. The only persons I hold are my own. And sometimes I need a reminder that I need to listen and believe in them a little bit more than I do, just like I am reminding you kindly, friendly right now. Okay? So if they leave trusting themselves just a little bit more when they leave me, then I know for a fact that I have done my job. And so before we wrap up here today, I think one of the greatest guides you'll ever meet isn't the one with the biggest following, the fanciest credentials, the loudest confidence, or the most spiritual language, or knowledge to that matter. There are some people that know a lot. And sometimes they make me feel kind of insecure, but shit, I know what I'm doing. And sometimes I'm like, well, I don't even know that, and I'm not even afraid to say that I don't know a lot about a lot of things. I mean, yeah, so I'm just going to leave it there. But if the person who keeps reminding you that your own wisdom deserves a seat at the table, I want that person in your life. They're the person that is there reminding you, because your wisdom does, in fact, deserve a seat at the table, at your table. Doesn't need to really be at anybody else's table. So if you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this. Do not look for someone to become your authority. Look for someone who helps you become your own. Because healing isn't about finding the person with all the answers, because you're not going to find them. It's about remembering that you've had the voice all along. And there's somebody out there that probably knows a lot, and they can tell you a lot about yourself. But if they're not teaching you how to do it yourself, that's a problem. That's not somebody that's really trying to help you. Okay? I want you to really sit with that. They need to be teaching you how to hear your voice, to know and understand your inner knowing. So a guide doesn't collect followers. A guide creates people who no longer need to follow anyone because they've learned how to trust themselves. Okay? Trusting yourself is so important. And I've shared it before on this podcast. There isn't going to be a magical moment where everything's just poof, fucking perfect. Sorry, it's not happening. You can keep waiting because it's not happening. But there are going to be moments where you connect with yourself, where you hear your own inner knowings and you trust it wholeheartedly and you never will question it again. And I hope that it comes to you sooner than later, because having that deep inner knowing and that trust in your own inner knowing is so powerful and so freeing. And if there is any way that I can help you on your journey, I am happy to, because when you come see me, I am teaching you how to do the work without me. Yes, there are some things that you can't do with, like, go into like a deep hypnosis, which actually you can. You can self-hypnotize yourself. And I do give people some recordings of that. So yeah, I send you on your way. Like, I want to give you tools that you can do on your own. So either way, if I can help you, reach out. But in the meantime, I want you to figure out and trust that deep inner knowing that is inside you. Because when you can trust her, your world is going to expand greatly, greatly. So until next time on the Soul Knowledge Podcast, this is Rocky. I'll see you later. Thank you for tuning in and for doing this work, not just for yourself, but for everyone connected to you. If this episode stirred something in you, trust that. Share it, leave a review, send it to someone whose soul needs it. Your voice and your ripple matter. And if you're ready to go deeper, to explore your past lives, heal your patterns, reconnect to your soul, or work with me one-on-one, head over to tuneintowellness.com or connect with me on Instagram. Until next time, trust what you feel, honor what you know, and remember, your soul already has the answers. Be bold, be light, be you. I'll see you next time on Soul Knowledge.